Welcome to the World Wire Update White. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon for more updates and thrilling short scenes. At ports worldwide, American corn shipments are being rejected, a stunning reversal for what was once the backbone of U.S. agriculture. Once routine exports are now high-stakes gambles as key international buyers cancel contracts and turn to other suppliers. The main reasons? Trade uncertainty and a global shift toward non-GMO products. This isn't a minor hiccup. It's a crisis rippling from Los Angeles docks to Iowa cornfields. The world's message is clear. American corn is no longer the default. Retaliation against new U.S. trade policies has accelerated a trend years in the making, growing skepticism of GMOs. For U.S. farmers who rely on GM technology, the market is suddenly hostile and searching for alternatives. The timing couldn't be worse. Farmers already face economic pressures, and now their main product is being turned away. The loss isn't just revenue, it's a threat to the entire business model of American agriculture. Generations of confidence in global demand have been shattered. U.S. grain rejected at foreign ports is a stark symbol of shifting trade relationships. The fallout is widespread. Not just farmers but suppliers, transporters, and port workers are at risk. These rejections mean lost jobs and growing despair in rural communities. America's agricultural foundation is being tested as the world realigns. The question now, how much more can the heartland endure before it breaks? President Trump's aggressive trade policy is at the center of this turmoil. By invoking the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, the administration imposed sweeping tariffs, up to 50%, on imports from numerous countries. The result? A catastrophic trade war with foreign nations retaliating against U.S. farmers. Retaliatory tariffs from China and Mexico have made American crops too expensive abroad, while U.S. tariffs have driven up the cost of essential farm inputs like fertilizer. Farmers are squeezed, falling crop prices and soaring production costs. Legal battles over these tariffs are ongoing, but for farmers, the reality is canceled orders and mounting debt. Planning for the next season is nearly impossible amid this uncertainty. Instead of strengthening U.S. agriculture, these policies have pushed global buyers to diversify, turning to Canada and Brazil. The trade war has taught the world to live without American products, a costly lesson for U.S. farmers. The corn crisis has escalated into a standoff with Mexico, one of America's top trade partners. Mexico, citing health and cultural concerns, has banned genetically modified corn for human consumption, and plans to phase out all GM corn by 2024. The U.S. argues this ban isn't based on science and violates the USMCA trade agreement, launching a formal dispute. Billions of dollars are at stake, but Mexico's government is resolute. Corn is central to its identity and food sovereignty. Mexico is now sourcing non-GM corn from Brazil and Argentina and boosting its own production. This isn't just politics, it's a strategic shift away from U.S. supply. The standoff pits U.S. priorities of free trade and efficiency against Mexico's focus on food sovereignty and cultural preservation. A full ban could cost U.S. farmers over $30 billion in a decade. As the dispute drags on, American farmers are left in limbo, watching their largest market slip away. The agricultural landscape of North America is being fundamentally rewritten. The U.S. is fighting to defend its exports, but Mexico is determined to chart its own course. The outcome will shape the future of corn trade for years to come. For now, uncertainty reigns. American farmers wait, hoping for a resolution that may never come. The trade war's impact is starkest at U.S. ports, now eerily quiet as exports plummet. Major ports like Portland and Los Angeles report double-digit drops in agricultural shipments. Tons of corn and soybeans sit idle, victims of canceled orders and tariffs. Farmers face soaring input costs, especially fertilizer, while domestic prices collapse due to oversupply. Family farms are pushed to the brink, squeezed by higher costs and lower returns. The pain spreads. Trucking and rail companies lose business, and port workers face layoffs. Freight companies report steep declines in container volume, signaling a broader economic slowdown. The entire logistics network is grinding to a halt, with lost wages and stagnation rippling outward. Unlike past disruptions, this crisis is self-inflicted, driven by policy, not disaster. The result: economic devastation across rural America. As U.S. farmers struggle, Canada is seizing the moment. By focusing on high-quality non-GMO corn, Canadian farmers are capturing markets the U.S. is losing. Years of investment in non-GM crops are now paying off with billion-dollar deals. Canada supports the U.S. diplomatically, but aggressively markets its non-GM corn to buyers like Mexico. Grain elevators in Ontario and Quebec are bustling, fueling a boom in rural Canada. This isn't a temporary windfall, it's a structural shift in global supply chains. Canadian farmers are building long-term relationships that will be hard for the US to reclaim. The contrast is clear. US agriculture prioritized yield and GM technology, while Canada targeted premium, identity-preserved markets. Global buyers are willing to pay more for non-GM products, and Canada is delivering. As the US faces fallout from its trade war, Canada's golden harvest is a lesson in market diversification. Listening to global demand has made Canada the new king of corn. The crisis isn't just about Mexico or China, it's a global shift away from US food exports. Decades of American dominance are ending, as unpredictable trade policies and GMOs drive buyers elsewhere. Nations seeking food security are forging new alliances, bypassing the US for Canada, Brazil, and Argentina. The US is now seen as an unreliable partner, and the world is adjusting. Importers need predictability, not political risk. Canada and Brazil offer stable policies and products that meet market demands. Every new contract signed with a US competitor cements a new global food system. Lost markets are hard to win back. Trust and trade routes are being redrawn. The American farmer isn't just losing this year's sales, they risk being permanently sidelined. The consequences of this trade war are long-term and profound. The world is building a food system less dependent on the US. American agriculture faces an uncertain future. The corn crisis is redrawing North America's agricultural map. American farmers face a reckoning, forced to rethink their reliance on GMOs and exports. Economic hardship and farm consolidation loom, with surplus corn seeking new, uncertain markets. US consumers will feel the impact through higher prices and inflation. In contrast, Canadian farmers are thriving, and Mexico is prioritizing food sovereignty, even at a premium. This crisis is a lesson in global interconnectedness and the speed of market shifts. The new North American pantry will be defined by Canada's premium crops, Mexico's choices, and America's surplus. The future demands a fundamental rethinking of farming and consumption in a turbulent era.